So, folks, what I've got here is a car blocking me in. Some guy who won't produce identity saying he is actually a sheriff. He says he's a sheriff, says it's Dominguez, gave me a badge number, wouldn't show me his ID. Came over here, is giving me grief. I'm in a public parking lot, and it's an open parking lot, and it's not a restricted use parking lot. And he's telling me that I have to leave, and he's demanding that I leave, actually. License plate is PBY 4217. It's not an exempt car, so it's not a patrol vehicle. And again, he's saying he's an investigator with Bexar County Sheriff's Department. I've called Sheriff's Department and asked for a supervisor to come out here. You see this car right over here? Person parked there, walk down, is conducting his business wherever he's conducting it. Doesn't matter what I'm doing here. I'm actually waiting for someone else. But what I'm doing here does not matter. He had no right to bother me. He continued pressing for information. I told him to leave me alone. He said, well, either you leave or I'm going to give you a criminal trespass warning. And I said, go ahead and write out a criminal trespass warning. And then he said, oh, you really want to go here? And he's been blinding me ever since then. Again, you can't tell a person to leave and block them from leaving. You can't be trespassing if you're not afforded the opportunity to leave. So I am being detained here against my will by this stupid motherfucker who is blocking my vehicle. I already did call the Bexar County Sheriff's to have a supervisor come down here. Called their non-emergency number. Because if this guy does work for Bexar County, I want to get his official badge and ID, and I want to see who the hell he thinks he is to come over here and tell me that I have to ID to him because he wants me to. I've not committed a crime. He's already admitted that he doesn't suspect me of any criminal activity. He simply says, if either you ID or you leave. And that's just not going to happen. How you doing, sir? My hands are both visible.
Okay.
Who are you?
I think I identified myself. I'm going to give you my card.
Okay, go ahead and hand me your card.
So this is the incident number that's going to notify you from 222 North Camal. You are now criminal trespass warning. Mr. Tony Rice, I believe that you have quite a few criminal trespass warnings throughout the city, and you're on probation or bond. I think it's bond, right? You're not allowed to be in contact with the kid.
You're mistaken there, but that doesn't matter. You can think whatever you want to think.
Not allowed to be around schools, or just a specific one?
I'm not allowed to be around your daughter.
Oh, okay, that's appropriate. Way to go, veteran. I'm glad I served with you.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. You're a cocksucker. First of all, you're blocking me in. I've already called for your supervisor to come down here, and I will continue to wait here until a supervisor arrives. Is that a county vehicle or your personal vehicle?
That's a county vehicle.
It's a county vehicle? Okay, because it's not marked as an exempt plate. I'm not saying it needs to be. You're an investigator. I understand that. However, when I asked you to identify, all I'm seeing is it's Troy Dominguez.
That's right.
Okay, because again, I couldn't see that earlier because you're blinding me. Again, you said you have your badge. Couldn't see that. I don't see your name. You didn't identify yourself by name when you approached me. You simply said, I'm a sheriff, and then you're demanding my ID without probable cause or reasonable articulable suspicion. And again, this is what you said. Either you ID or I'll give you a criminal trespass warning. And again,
are you on drugs? Because I don't think any of this is accurate, because I have a body-worn camera too, sir.
I'm glad
listen,
you do.
So when you're talking about how I ordered you to show your ID, I told you specifically. I asked for your name. I told you I'm not even asking for your ID. Another thing, I'm not blocking you in. I asked you to simply leave these premises.
You're not blocking me in. What's that vehicle right in front of
Okay,
me? How am I supposed to leave if your vehicle is blocking my vehicle from leaving?
If that's the issue, that could be simply resolved.
Resolve it. Resolve it.
I will back up so that way you have plenty of room to make a safe exit from this place.
Your accusations that I have a...
So the terminology and the speaking nice does not play well after I've already been very professional with you.
You have not
asked
been
for my
professional.
badge, you asked for my number. I've not came over here. I am deputy. You better move. No, sir. You asked for my name. I gave it to you. You asked for my badge number. I gave it to you. I showed it to you. I am clearly marked. I have identified that as a vehicle. I have stated my reason here.
Sir.
You are only being combative because you do not like what I'm telling you. And I'm being very reasonable with you. I know that I could run your plate. I did run your plate. That's why I know who you are. That's why I know about your charges. I have not asked anything of you other than just to leave the property and go wherever else you want to go besides this place.
And again, you haven't given me a reason why I need to leave the property.
And
This is a public parking lot.
Again, I told you my duties and the responsibilities of me coming over there. I've told you why that vehicle's here because that's an employee's vehicle.
Is this...
Did you tell me you're a Bear County employee?
Hold on, Mr. Dominguez.
Did you tell me that?
Do you have a body-worn camera
Yes.
working, and is it running right now?
Yes.
Play it back and ask yourself the same question. Okay? Is this or is this not a public
We can't
parking
go back
lot?
and forth. Wait for my supervisor, but here is the number. You are now criminally trespassed from this place. Any other problems, we're going to deal with that. Okay? I will move the vehicle so you can leave. Are we satisfied with that?
Again,
You can actually go over there and talk to my supervisor.
I'm waiting for your supervisor to get down here. I called your dispatch to get him down here, and I told them I'd be waiting here. They're waiting. They know my name. I identified to them. So I'll wait right here for your supervisor.
So
And
it's not the problem that I'm blocking you. You're just refusing to leave. So that's another issue on itself.
is it an issue? How can I leave right now while you are blocking me in? But again,
I'm willing
because...
to cooperate with you and work with you.
And again...
because I've told you what I want. You
Again,
haven't told me anything.
I have told you.
Except for saying you're a Bear County employee, which is a lie or true.
Mr. Dominguez.
You did tell me Bear County employee, correct? Are you or are you not a Bear County employee? Is that the reason that you said you were parked here?
No, I said I'm waiting here.
So
Okay.
you're a liar. That's a horrible thing to be.
Oh, hold on. What? Whoa. Hold on. So all of a sudden, you get memory relapse and you phrase things the way that you want to phrase it, and it makes me a liar. Again, I've already told you I've contacted Bear County Dispatch, and wow, imagine that. It's 335-6000. I've asked for a supervisor to come here. When you came from over here, I don't know, I see a light over there. That's why I asked who you are when you approached. I can't see outside in your vehicle because you're blinding me with your vehicle lights. I didn't see you exit your vehicle. I assumed a supervisor parked over there, and that's why he walked over there. That's why I said, who are you? And you're like, I've already told you. Okay, that's fine. It's the same person who's parked in front of me.
And I provide you a call with my name and the case number that's with this.
That's this case number right here. Okay?
Correct.
Okay, that's fine. And again, as I've already explained to you, while you were in your car, I called Bear County Dispatch.
We've got past that.
Okay, have you got on the radio with them? Why don't
Yes.
you just go confirm that I'm waiting for a supervisor to arrive here? When your supervisor gets down here, we will discuss that with your supervisor. And then, after I speak with your supervisor, I will leave the property. But again, if I call for a police officer to come down here, specifically regarding your telling me I cannot be on this property, you're telling me that. I understand you're saying that. And I'm telling you this is a public parking lot. There's no reason for you to tell me that. You know I'm not committing any crime. You know I'm waiting for somebody.
Do I? How do I know that?
Well, I don't know.
How do you show your ID, but you're telling me you're waiting on somebody? And you can wait on anybody?
I can wait on anybody. There's no crime in being in a parking lot.
No one said it was. I told you exactly why I'm here. I think maybe 4 times now, if I have to repeat myself. I think I have been especially respectful, especially
you think it's respectful to walk up to me and tell me that I have some bond or restraining order from being around a child? That's not respectful at all. Now,
I'm sure I'm speaking to the right person since you failed to even at least provide your name.
And you've already run according to you. You know who I am. Again, I have no obligation to ID to you. I have absolutely zero obligation to even have this conversation with you. Okay? Now, again, you've been told you are on duty according to you. I'm going to take you at face value on that. I can't see that that's a marked vehicle. I
told
assume
you
it
it's a
is.
Dare County vehicle, sir.
Okay, well, I understand you're saying that. I can't tell that because you're blinding me. I'm not going to get out of my vehicle. I'm going to
I
wait
asked you
here.
to step out of your vehicle. I've asked you just to leave in your vehicle and go find another place.
You've
and have
asked
a
me to
safe
leave
ride.
in my vehicle while you're blocking me in. And again, that could have been resolved earlier if our conversation had not been, as you say, what's the term that you said? Combative? Abusive? What was the term that you said? That argumentative? See, you guys like to use those phrases. However, the only argumentative or abusive thing that's happened here is when I told you I'm not doing anything illegal. I have a right to be here. And you said, no, you have to leave. And I said, this is public property and it's not a restricted lot. There's no signs anywhere on there saying it's a restricted or for use lot. I'm allowed to be here. And you said, no, you're not allowed to be here. And then you said, if you don't ID, I'm going to give you a criminal trespass warning. And I said, go ahead and fill out the paperwork for a criminal trespass warning then. Okay? And then you went to your car and you sat in your car and I called your dispatch to get your supervisor down here. That's where we're at right now as far as I understand. Maybe there's a missing link in your timeline.
No,
Can you get on the radio and find out where your supervisor is?
well, that's your responsibility. You're the one that's in charge of that. I did pretty much my duties, and I'm actually trying to work with you so that way we can. Well, the CTW is already in. You asked for that, and I provided it. There's a case number with all my information. There's also me that's going to move the vehicle so that way you can go to any place and go find my supervisor because my supervisor is all the way in the county.
Okay, well, I understand you're saying your supervisor's in the county, but you came out here, and again, your basis for saying that I'm trespassed off of public property is what? What is the reason for trespassing me off of public property?
This is county property that
It
has
is?
extensive amounts of problems to where I have to come out here and patrol at night to make sure that there is no activity and no one loitering. Okay? Just like the parking garage, just like over there inside the confinements of the gated facility. I explained that for I think the fifth time now.
Again, this is not the gated facility. This is the open public parking lot.
This is their county property. Just like you can't park at the elections building right now, just like you can't park outside the courthouse right now. This place during business hours when there's business activities, right now we have too many problems, and my whole obligation is one, when I first came in to check on you, make sure that you're alive. It's not normal to be passed out asleep at 1 o'clock in the morning in this type of neighborhood.
Well,
So
hold on.
once you're okay.
Hold on.
Let me at least tell you, because I don't like being cut off, and I'm trying to explain to you, because I'm actually trying to resolve this. You were awake, saw that, and then all I did was advise you of my duties, where we're at, and where else you could be.
Okay,
I
now
asked for your name, which you did not provide, but then you said you're a Bear County employee. We talked about the vehicle over there, and we explained why that one's there and what I know about it. You said you talked to that person. Is this all not accurate?
I told you I talked to the person.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, you know I've talked to you don't know I've talked to anybody.
So
But
you're waiting on anybody.
you don't know if I'm waiting on anyone. And you know what? I've already texted somebody on my phone.
Right.
It doesn't matter. I don't need to tell you a damn thing.
Correct.
You don't need to know anything other than the fact that I'm not committing a crime. And unless I'm committing a crime, you have no reason to be contacting me. Okay? You're alleging that for whatever your patrol duties are, and I'm not disagreeing with whatever your assigned duties are, that you can come around on public property and say, you can't be on this public property. And what I'm saying is that this is listed as public property in Bear County Appraisal District. You can go pull that up on your...
You have enough CTWs. I'm pretty sure you've done your research, and I've explained to you why I'm not allowing anyone and why this is private property at this time of night. Obviously, there is no activity. There is no one parked here. There is no one except a county employee that leaves our vehicle.
That road right out there, what road is right out there?
You tell me. You're aware of what.
So you don't know what road that is? What road is that right over there?
Oh, I don't know. That's right.
You don't know? So can I go park on either of those roads?
Absolutely, 100%.
Oh, absolutely. I can park on either of those
Those are
roads.
public roads.
Okay, and do you think it is safer for a person to park on a road with traffic versus a public parking lot? Which do you think is a safer thing for a person to do?
For someone in a parking lot not too far away from where we're at with the windows rolled down, I might have saved your life because someone might have came over here and attacked you and took your vehicle. But now that I made contact with you, make sure that you're okay, I would like to advise you that this place is not safe and that it is not allowed to be parked as for temporary parking, for storage, and I am asking politely that you leave this place and you go wait some other place if you're waiting for to pick someone up.
Okay, so
As simply put as I can make it.
okay, so
Now everything else, I don't understand how I'm not being.
okay. Does
Very
this
simple.
does this look like I'm temporarily parked or storing my vehicle here?
Oh, we're just gonna argue everything.
No, I'm asking because you're brought and another thing that I'm going to go back to because the phrasing that you used back there, passed out in my vehicle. I didn't like the way that you phrased that, and you changed it. You said I was awake. Again, I understand what you're saying there, but the issue again, I've already called your supervisor or for a supervisor
Yes,
to
you
come
said
down
that.
here.
I'm aware.
So why don't you just get on the radio and say, hey, me and this guy, we got off to a bad start. Can the supervisor come down here? Maybe your supervisor can phrase it in a much more polite way. Maybe your supervisor will come down here and let you know, hey, the guy has a point. It's not a for-use parking lot. It doesn't say only Bear County employees at this time from this time. It doesn't have any unlawful parking signs, doesn't have the required towing signs. So even if somebody left their vehicle here, when you're saying they can't leave their vehicle here, someone can park their vehicle here, walk down to the jail, come back anytime. This is what public parking is for.
And most likely that vehicle without the proper sticker and permits will get stickered. And then it will probably get impounded if it's not moved in a sufficient amount of time. I know this because I work here, because I know how it goes. I've told you I come out here routinely at night, my first time seeing you, and I think I've been more than fair, but you want to make up your own stories of what I've said. You haven't listened to me. Otherwise,
You have your body camera on and you can go but review whatever you claim I said. I'm not going to, you woke me up and out.
So that's the problem. I woke you up.
No, the problem is,
So you
is
were
that I
passed
was,
out.
oh, now you're saying I was passed out, but first you said I'm awake. So one of us cannot be telling the truth. First you said I'm asleep, then you said I'm awake, then you said I was passed out when you walked up to my vehicle.
So the problem
Before you even spoke, when your light shined in my vehicle, what did I tell you? What's the first thing I said? I said, I'm awake, I'm resting, I'm waiting for somebody.
And what did I tell you?
Let's see some ID.
Oh,
That's what I recall. It may not be what you told me.
okay. I believe the first thing I said is, well, good. I'm glad you're alive.
And that sounds familiar, Mr. Dominguez 167. And oh, you're a child safe investigator. Is that why you told me that I have a restraining order from being around children? I mean, do you really think that's appropriate? Do you think that's an accurate statement to say to somebody, oh, you have a restraining order from children or something? Where'd you even come up with some bullshit like that?
Well, since you didn't provide your information, I had to look it up, and guess what popped up?
Oh, I'd love to see that. Go pull it up again. Right now, you are accusing me of having a restraining order from being around a child?
I told you that you're out on Bonnie conditions.
Oh,
That's what I said, because
that's very, very interesting. Here's a little clue for you. Here's a little clue for you. As you're aware, you've pulled up my arrest record. Arrested 11 times. You know how many convictions? 0. Okay?
And you're proud of that.
You're damn straight. You know why? Because people like you come around and abuse people and violate their rights and bully people. And when a person tells you something that's logical and makes sense, you want to push issues. And I push back on those issues. And I will go to court over it. This card that you gave me, we'll be going to court over that too, Officer Dominguez. Or is it deputy or whatever you guys call yourself? Is it deputy, investigator? What is that?
Either or. I'm not here by title.
Okay, so would you prefer officer or deputy?
I am an investigator, but it's
Okay,
officer,
well, I'll
deputy.
call you investigator. I mean, I'm not trying to again, I'll freely admit, I am being combative in my tone with you because you have inappropriately come over here and told me I have no legal right to be where I'm at. And I've disagreed with you. I've explained that it's a public parking lot. You say no, it's restricted. And I said there's no signage saying it's restricted. Okay?
Well, I tried to unconfuse that.
And again, that's why I'm waiting for your supervisor. Initially, I'm waiting for your supervisor because, again, the way that you pulled up this year was flipped. Your badge that, what is that? Troy Dominguez, can you flip that over? That's what I saw right there.
Okay.
Okay, and I couldn't even read homicide on it. But again, that's because I didn't have a light out or was looking. I just saw, okay, but it looked like it said veterans on it. It didn't look like it said sheriff's office. Okay, that's why I said, oh, you're a veteran. You remember me saying that?
Correct.
Okay, you also see I have on my reading glasses now, so I couldn't read that at that point. So when someone walks up with a badge I can't read, you see, now I'm looking at that and it says homicide, but your card is a child safe investigator. Do you see how that could also throw off a little bit of confusion to a person? But when I see a badge that says,
So where I work at, and my title,
right, so do you work in the homicide department?
yes, I do.
Okay, and so your title is just as a child safe investigator, but you are a homicide
So I
detective?
have a business card. That's the only one that I'm able to provide at this time. That has my information, which is accurate. That has a case number, which is accurate.
So your desk number is 801-7912. That's going to reach homicide?
No, that's my old child safety number. I can mark those out as inaccurate phone
So
numbers.
this is not an accurate card?
So we're looking for everything.
No,
So
I'm
this is the
asking,
point.
no, I'm being very
So the
specific
point-
for a
The
reason.
point of the card, sir, is so you have my information, you have my email address, the number is going to be wrong, and you have the case number in regards to our contact.
Okay, and again, I'm going to continue waiting here for your supervisor to get here, or the supervisor that I requested through Bear County Dispatch. That is a recorded line as well. They said they had someone en route. I'm going to reach over here for a charging cable. You see my hand? I don't want you thinking I'm reaching for a weapon again. I don't play that type of game. I'm not. I've never
You like
assaulted
playing
a.
games, though. That's what's problematic.
No, the problem is that officers like abusing people's rights and telling people that they have no right to do this or that based off some BS. You know,
You haven't described anything as far as abuse of power, abuse of rights. Pretty much, I think I've been more than reasonable. I've explained everything that's been asked. I have attempted to resolve this about as peacefully as possible and even provided the best ways to get out of this predicament. I've even said I'll back up the car if that's a problem. And all that has not been enough to accommodate someone that I just want to vacate this property based on the explanations that I've already provided. You have, I'm assuming, all the internal affairs numbers. You have dispatch number. It doesn't look like you're a Bear County employee as stated. And, yep, you got a recorded phone conversation with our dispatch that you requested one. I don't know how much further I could go to make this situation very explained to where you will not think that this is abuse of power or abuse of rights when I've explained clearly why I'm here and clearly why I'm talking to you without ever asking for your ID. You're the one that said, run the plate. You know who I am. I'm a veteran. That's about as horrible as a cop saying, hey, here's my badge. I can't do anything wrong. It doesn't work like that. This is 2023, just like it was 2022, and there are people that need to be responsible for what they're doing, and I'm trying to be as polite and cooperative with you and reasonable by moving the vehicle. If it is in the way, if that's not enough room, guess what? I can move it. And you can ask me to move it, and I would have moved it. But
Did
no,
I not do that 20 minutes ago?
Well, once you started recording, but our first contact, and it doesn't matter if you're recording or not, that's great. Good. I encourage people to record.
Again,
Once I told you that I would, that was not acceptable for you.
okay, first of all, earlier you said this twice while you were speaking. You don't like being cut off. But every time I start to speak, you cut me off, okay? So I'm going to let you finish your statement, and then I'm going to speak. So go ahead and finish speaking. I've been quiet now for about 3 minutes. So go ahead, continue with what you're saying, and then I will speak.
Trauma injuries. 3 Charlie 21 location, 1530, Marlboro Coast, 1530, Marlboro Coast, Charlie 10 response here, example.
Well, I'm going to move the vehicle, and then you can wait for the supervisor, and then just be advised that there is a CCW out here for this location that we can contest. All right, Mr. Reese?
Who?
Oh, I'm sorry. I've been talking to you so long that I forgot your name. That's right. You failed to provide it. I wish you a safe night.
Okay, are you finished speaking?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the end of our conversation. I'll wait for your supervisor. You have a good day. This is Bear County, Texas. Their phone number is 210-335-6000. I've already called the dispatcher and asked for them to come out here. This is a public parking lot. It is outside of the pretrial services area, but again, it is a public parking lot. They've got employees from the jail and other places that come out here and park and go to the jail and do other things like that. I was waiting for a person who was down filming by the jail earlier, and they were going to text me when they finished doing what they did. I said, I'll just cruise over here and sit here. And I'm leaned back and I'm relaxed. I'm just chilling. And the guy comes up and I see his light. So, I look at him and, I'm like, I'm awake. I'm good. I'm waiting for somebody, whatever. He says a couple of things. In fairness, when I looked out my window, I did not have on my glasses. I'm going to turn this back around facing me. I did not have on my glasses because they were up in my console. They're reading glasses. I don't use them for driving. But he had on a badge and it looked like it said veteran. One of the badges you hang around your neck. And it says homicide on it. I can read that now. But again, now I have a light shining in on my face. Earlier, it was just his light blinding me. And so he's like, well, what's your name? And I'm like, what's the issue? And he's like, well, what are you doing? And I'm like, this is public property. I'm not committing a crime. He admitted earlier he knew I wasn't committing a crime. And then he said, but if you don't give me your name, I'm going to ask you to leave or give you a criminal trespass warning. And I said, okay, then give me a criminal trespass warning. He said, oh, I have to get your ID to do that. I said, no, I'm not giving you a damn thing. You can get it off my license plate, my registration if you want to. I'm not playing this game with you. I rolled up my window. He sat in his car over here. His car doesn't have an exempt plate on it. He says it's a county vehicle. They don't have to have exempt plates. But I shine my light on the license plate over there on his vehicle, and I read off the plate, and I'm like, wait a minute. This don't make no damn sense. If he's in a marked county vehicle, it should be an exempt vehicle. So I call up dispatch because I've had problems out here before with sheriff's employees coming over and thinking this is their private fiefdom. Matter of fact, the instructor who teaches the deputies over right in this building right behind criminal or pretrial services had to come out and lecture his guy about it being public property. And I mean, again, I've had issues with these deputies doing that crap. So I did call well, thank you if he did cry, but I'm not really concerned. Like I said, this is inside the city limits. Typically, they shouldn't even have officers down here, but this is Bear County property. They do patrol it just like they patrol the courthouses downtown. They patrol the sheriff's the jail. Like I said, I mean, I'm just at a level of frustration that this guy will come over here and start pulling this BS. And I tell him, I say, you just go do what you need to do, because I'm not playing this game. For an officer to sit here and tell me that he's giving me a criminal trespass warning if I don't give him my name. The reason for the criminal trespass warning is because I didn't give him my name. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. And he parked his vehicle where I cannot leave. That is detaining me, but he doesn't see it that way. He says, you have to leave, but I'm going to leave my vehicle here so you can't leave, so I can run your plate. Again, these are the issues and types of things that his supervisor needs to be aware of. And he comes back to the window, and, I may have been pseudo sleeping. I'd been watching some YouTube videos or whatever. He's like, oh, well, you were passed out. He says passed out at one point. Then he says asleep. Then he says awake. Again, when they make these all conflicting statements, but then he says, well, you lied to me earlier. And I go, you said I was passed out. Obviously, I wasn't passed out. And he's like, oh, no, you were awake. And then I'm like, so, you wake me up, and I'm looking out, so you were asleep. And I'm like, the first thing that I said, and he had a point when I said, I'm awake. I do believe he is correct. He said, oh, I'm glad to hear that you're alive. And I'm like, okay, I know this is a rough neighborhood, and things do happen down here. It's, part of the reason that I'm here. This is a safe parking lot versus parking out on the public street where people walk through on a regular basis. It's just sad that he wouldn't even listen to that explanation of that. He has no problem with this person over here parking their vehicle there. He says, oh, I see that car there all the time. What difference does it make if he sees that car there or not? Again, then he's saying, oh, well, we'll tow a car, and I'm like, no, you can't even tow. You don't have the proper legal signs to tow a vehicle in the state of Texas at your entryways. Sorry, I'm just ranting. It is a frustrating situation, again, to be in when you know that the police are going to lie and they'll bring crap up. Then the son of a bitch walks up and he goes, you've got you're on probation or parole. I'm not on probation or parole. I'm like, yeah, right, whatever. Then he has the audacity to tell me that I have a restraining order from being around children or something. And absolutely not. I have no conditions on my bond release for, failed to ID, the same thing I did here. And he kept saying, well, you failed to ID. You failed? Yeah, I don't have to ID. I'm not under arrest. Fuck you, cop. You guys keep pushing this. Of course I'm going to keep getting unlawful arrests from you bastards. Again, that is an issue. So, it's like when I tell him, I say, well, go get on your radio and get your supervisor down here. He's like, oh, that's your problem. I'm like, is it really? You're supposedly out here officially working in a vehicle that you say is a county car. If you're going to tell me you can't get your own supervisor down here, how's it that my problem? Again, the issue with police officers when they do this, he's saying, I don't see how I've stepped on any of your rights. This is no different than the VIA police officer coming up to my car when I'm on a public road at a parking meter and telling me you can't be parked here because our building's next to it and the building's private property. And saying you have to move because I said so because I'm a police officer. And I was like, you're out of your mind. I'm so used to dealing with these situations, and the cops go, well, you're being combative or whatever. When I called dispatch, I didn't have a problem giving dispatch my name. I don't have a problem giving him my name. I told him, I said, well, you're going to do what you're going to do. Get it off the tag or whatever. It's the same. He keeps trying to get me to verify who I am, and it's just a word game for him. He's like, right, Mr. Reese? And I'm like, who? I'm not going to confirm to him what my name is. I'm simply not going to do it. He has no legal right to ID me. He can get my tags. He knows who the vehicle's registered to. He's got my picture. He's got my picture of my driver's license. It doesn't bother me at all. Again, him sitting there, disparaging me because I'm a veteran. I thought his badge said veteran on it, is what I thought it said on the bottom of it. But again, I can't read without my reading glasses, and he's blinding me with this light. And again, why is his badge turned around, not showing his name on it? When I looked up, I said, "Who are you?" He's like, "You can see I have a badge over here." And I looked, I couldn't read the badge number. And he did say, "I'm badge whatever." And I'm like, "And your investigator who?" And I tried to see his name tag, and he wouldn't show me his name tag on his uniform. He's wearing a jacket over it. His name tag should be on the outer garment. But again, now he has backed his vehicle up. So when his supervisor gets here, his supervisor is going to say, "Oh no, you weren't blocking him in." But earlier he was pulled so far up. Sorry, that was the supervisor calling me, telling me he ain't going to come out here. So he can go fuck himself. I've put my lights on to try to notify this officer. Hey, officer, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Your supervisor called me and told me he's not going to come out here, so there's no reason for me to continue to stay. Thank you for moving your call back to where I'm not blocked in anymore. I'm going to go pull out and park on the street. You have a safe night too, sir. Hope you don't run into a telephone pole. Now you see he's backing further out. Yeah, that's not a county vehicle. PBY 4217. That's PBY 4217. You know what? He's going to play this game. He's going to continue moving while I'm moving. I'm not going to do anything till he finishes moving. So every time I move, he's moving. He's going to play this game and say, "Oh, I thought he was a danger to my vehicle." So he's actually blocking my exit route at this point. Plan on leaving this street behind or on the east side, but he's blocking it. You're blocking me. Got my turn signal on. Well, he ain't understanding that, so fuck him. Sorry, guys. I'm staying live. I got to set my phone down for a second. So I followed the prick into Fair County over there. Sorry, as soon as I get to a place where I can actually park on the street without being harassed again, I'm going to do that. But I'm not in danger of being arrested, so you no longer need to stick around. You don't need to worry about sticking around on my live chat. I do appreciate you staying in earlier. Like I said, unfortunately, I had to take the call on this phone. I do have that call on my body camera, but the sergeant is like, I'm way far from there. I'm not coming down there. If you don't leave, I'm just going to tell him to arrest you. What's his name? And I'm like, you don't know your own officer's name? Fuck you. And you're not coming down here? Fuck you. You figure out which one of your dumbass officers is down here. And you might as well tell him to stop blocking me. He'd already moved off, but that wasn't... That's not my point. Tomorrow morning, I will be back down at that location at pretrial services. And I will be filing a complaint with pretrial services over that matter. Again, it's a public parking lot. There's no time use limitations on it. There's no reason for them to say anything at all. So, this is Blue Lives Matter. I see more people have come in. Well, a lot more people in now. Appreciate you guys coming in. Joseph, like I say, anytime they start this bullshit, I do go live, especially when they start ranting and talking about, oh, well, we're going to arrest you for something that's not a crime. Because I can have my body cam running, they can disable that. But if you're live, hopefully it goes through without any glitches. And hopefully you have that record if you need it in court. So, never tell a cop you're live streaming. It's not an intimidation to them. Let them wonder about it. If they're the type of dirty officer who's going to look into your device and try to disable it, they're going to do it either way. If you tell them it's a live stream, they may pull this whole, oh, that's an officer safety issue because you could be calling for people to come down here and interfere with what I'm doing. And yes, they have gotten away with that. They recently lost a lawsuit against the government saying that that was a violation of their First Amendment rights. And the judge said, well, it's understandable if an officer says that. Bullshit. So that's why I tell people, don't tell the cops you're live streaming. Live stream, do whatever. Again, when they start talking and they don't want to listen anymore, anything you say can and will be used against you. And you know, earlier when he's like, well, this parking lot's for employees only. I'm pretty sure that I intimated that. I'm like, so what if I'm a Bear County employee then? And again, you don't have to be. It's not marked for employees. But that's why he kept saying, and you said you're a Bear County employee. And I'm like, what about this guy right over here? He got out of his car. I talked to him. He walked over there. Well, he's got a sticker on his car. If he has a sticker on his car, why isn't he parked in the secure gate over there? We all know what the deal is. That person works down at the bail bonds, not at the jail. But again, that officer just didn't like the fact that I didn't want ID. So he's like, well, you can't stay here then. And I'm like, fuck you. Not going to sit there and go to jail over it. I will make an issue for Bear County Jail. I'll make an issue for Sheriff Salazar about it. And again, they're going to have to get back with this investigator and tell him, hey, you were wrong. And they may back him up and they go, well, we'll tell, it's okay. And just like with Via, when I went to the board meeting, they had a little Christmas party that they listed as a public meeting. And I crashed their Christmas party. I knew it was a party and not a meeting, but they listed it as that. So they invited people to speak, and I took the opportunity and I went in and I told them, I said, your officers need to stop telling people they can't park at parking meters. They don't regulate the parking meters. They keep saying they do. And they all looked at me like, what the hell's happening? Guess what? VIA isn't telling people that anymore, because when shit hits the top and they look at it and they see it seriously, then they go back down and they make decisions. Until the top knows, and typically they don't. Just like this supervisor. I'm not coming out there to discuss a parking spot with you. I'll just tell them to arrest you if you don't leave. And I'm like, really? Well, fuck you too. You're about worthless, Sergeant. So, again, they call you from private numbers, which is bullshit. And, I'm not worried about that. It's going to be funny because they're going to have a conflict of interest when they pull things up. They're going to say, oh, is this person or that person based off the phone? And I'm going to say, you probably talked to someone else. I don't know. Who did you talk to on the phone? That's their issue, not my issue. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out. It's a longer live stream than I'm normally on. Thank you again for staying in there that long. And feel free to call up their dispatch and tell them they're pieces of shit again. I don't care. That's what they need to get, those types of messages whenever they play these games. Again, it's Bear County Sheriff's Department, 335-6000. That's 210-335-6000. They have no reason to be contacting people in a public parking lot and telling them that it's closed or restricted unless they mark that parking lot that way. So this is Blue Lights out. You guys have